A very good morning, Zimbabwe. Mamukase, and I'm here so that we talk about important matters. So there is an argument which continues to be online. Wopo Chingono is consistently attacking Advocate Nelson Chamisa and the opposition, and the blame is mainly on President Nelson Chamisa. He is actually saying that President Chamisa failed to organize his people. But we need to take a look and answer this one. So I'm happy and glad that Freeman Chari managed to deal with this issue more factually. So Hopo Chingono wrote and pinning a blame on Advocate Nelson Chamisa. And Freeman Chari responded. And argument by Hopo Chingono can't stand. Why? Hopo said that Triple C had no election agents. Is it true? No. What happened is that Chingono fails to acknowledge that their agents were deployed at polling stations owned by generals, a polling station which is within a farm, and that farm is owned by a certain person who is powerful. What happened to the polling agents? They were chased from those areas, which means there was no way Triple C could have gotten a V11 well in time on a particular polling station. What did ZEC do? Nothing. Then we have an issue here of Triple C managing to have agents at 98% of the polling stations. There are 12,200 plus V11s, physical V11s, which are available. And the remainder was provided via text messages. So 98% of V11s were delivered. And you could actually see that Triple C did well. This time around, Zimbabwe Electoral Commission has refused to publish on its own website to publish the V11s as they did in 2018. This time around, they've refused to do so. Today is the 10th of September. They have not published V11s and they are refusing. Is that Nelson Chamisa's fault? No. Where is he supposed to go? Because during the campaigns, Nelson Chamisa had his rallies banned. He went to the courts upheld the bars which were put in place by the police, which means the courts themselves, they are compromised. Fast forward to post-elections, you expect Nelson Chamisa to go through the same courts. It shows that Malaba will not bring anything new. Even if the courts are approached, nothing new is going to come out of those courts. So the only way was for Chamisa to simply go to the courts to expose how these courts are captured. But that will not save the situation. That is the reason why the opposition is lobbying for fresh elections supervised by SADC and AU. So you understand, Kuti, hatred is driving a lot of people within the politics of Zimbabwe. Because Wopo Chingono has reduced this argument to an issue of V11s. But he will not point out the issues of March Central, where Zek said they had no stamp. But the following day, ZANU-PF had V11s with stamps. There are videos in March Central where V11s without figures were posted. Hopo Chingono will not point on those issues. So Hopo Chingono will not talk about how Harare people, how urban voters were disenfranchised, because 12 hours lapsed without ballot papers being deployed. Voting happened at night and in other areas on the 24th. They will not talk about all those issues. They will just point failures at Nelson Chamisa. What was Nelson Chamisa supposed to do on the voting day? What was he supposed to do to make sure that ballot papers are delivered in time? So in 2018, Chigumba said that parallel tabulation must happen so that inconveniences are avoided, so that you can actually follow how ZEC is doing it and point out errors. This time it was being done, but what happened? The people who were doing that, the civic society, got arrested, the equipment was confiscated, and they still blame, or they still put the responsibility on Triple C. Did the Triple C arrest parallel tabulators? No, it was the police. What was Nelson Chamisa supposed to do? So there is an issue where ZEC moved people from polling stations. And I voted up a polling station A. I was moved to polling station D, but I was not advised. Star 265 was not working on election day. So you'd see that if somebody goes to a polling station and finds out that he or she is not in the on the voter roll, the easiest was to dial star 265 to have the nearest polling station, but it was not working on that day, which means somebody was supposed to move to each and every polling center for him or her to find his or her name. And you have to wait onto the queue as well. So all these issues, nobody cares about them. Because remember, it was difficult for you to get to a polling station and go straight to the wall to check if your name is on the voters roll. Because these voters rolls were not put at the gate, they were at the door to get into the polling station. So what it means, you're supposed to wait in the queue for the sake of order. Then after waiting for 2-3 hours, you are told your name is not here. You move to another polling station, 2-3 hours, you are told your name is not here. You move to another polling station. So you would understand that that was frustrating. So all that is being blamed on Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Yes, we agree. There were challenges, like in any election or anything you organize. Even if it is a wedding, even if you go for an inauguration, you will find challenges. You will find some things which are not being which are not done properly or as required. But the opposition did its best. Even in areas where deployment was late, people were eventually deployed, because when we are talking about being late, we are talking about the time which people had agreed to deploy agents was on the 22nd. And if we failed to meet the 22nd deadline, what it means is we were supposed to make sure that on the 23rd, 7 a.m., Everybody, every agent is at the polling station. That was done. People worked overnight in areas where there were challenges to make sure that agents were deployed at their polling stations. And V11s are there. But one man, together with his team, who don't believe that Advocate Nelson Chamisa should lead Zimbabwe, they continue to attack him. The reason why they partly associate with opposition Triple C is because they've realized that they don't have capacity to force anything to happen. So they bank on Triple C so that whatever they are planning is recognized. So you will see that, honestly speaking, you understand that this challenge does need honest people. Influential people must be honest enough. I've always asked the people like Wako Chingono to say, can't you be in the rural areas and see how things are being done in the rural areas, so that before you blame Advocate Nelson Chamisa, you understand the setup in Zimbabwe. So Hans Banapa, I see your conversations and debates, my brothers. One question, do elections work in Zimbabwe? A yes or a no will do. So elections work. Elections don't work. We are in between. Elections with reforms, with independent institutions, they work. But elections without reforms, without independent institutions, they do not work. That is the reason why you have seen this happening. More importantly, this question, I have seen a lot of people asking about this question, saying they need a plan B, not elections. But the question is, who is going to lead that plan B you are advocating for? Because your hands are not tied. Some of you, you are in the diaspora, hiding, while this Advocate Nelson Chamisa is in Zimbabwe confronting, and you expect him to do things your own way. Why can't you be in Zimbabwe, sit down with Advocate Nelson Chamisa and say, brother, we are here. Can we do A, B, C, D? You can't, because you are cowards. And you want to lead to put him on the forefront so that he liberates Zimbabwe and you come to take advantage of it. So honestly speaking, at this moment, at this juncture, we have seen a lot of people who thought that they were brilliant enough to accuse Advocate Nelson Chamisa, but do nothing, hide in the diaspora. Yet they are on the forefront of giving instructions on Advocate Nelson Chamisa. President Chamisa is doing a lot to make sure that change comes to the nation of Zimbabwe. He's doing a lot, but who recognizes it? Just a few. So Team Zimbabwe, in my view, we cannot blame Advocate Nelson Chamisa for the failures in Zimbabwe. We cannot put a blame on Advocate Nelson Chamisa because, in my view, as a leader, he is doing his best. He is doing what needs to be done so far for change to come to the nation of Zimbabwe. Remember, you have to plan so that when you execute, you don't fail. In Zimbabwe, you don't need to just rush to execute because you are dealing with a system backed by Russia, backed by China as their strategists. So anything you do, you need to do it strategically and with wisdom. So this is my view, Team Zimbabwe. And I thank Mkoma Freeman Chari for actually trying to explain and make these things be of reason to our comrades in the opposition. So it is what it is, Team Zimbabwe. If you want to join our live programs here, simply inbox us. Let me just put the number here, which you can quickly use for you to be part of our live streams. I have seen a lot of people requesting to be part of these live streams so that they put their own views. So let me put the number right here onto the screen for you to be able to see. And if you have anything and you feel that you want to be part of this of our shows, that is the number which is right here on the screen. +263 778 636 136. So if you want to be our panelist here, if you want to take part on our broadcast, please use that number so that you'll be able to come here live. So it is what it is, Team Zimbabwe. We continue to take a look on what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. So for you to be part of our live streams, please just WhatsApp us on that number, which is appearing right here on the screen. That is our temporary number. And we'll be using this number for a few days so that you come here. We are going to give anybody who wants to have audience on this platform. We are going to give you that opportunity to come live and give your ideas to the people of Zimbabwe, because we are the people's platform, and we hope and believe that we must give each and every person an opportunity and a chance to come here. So in conclusion, we cannot blame, or we can't continue to blame Advocate Nelson Chamisa for the failures. We have to take responsibility, all of us. Big Drew Ganzi Chamisa is our hope. He is doing his best to save us from Satan. We will stand by him all the way to the very bitter end. God is in it. Thank you very much, Big Drew, for this contribution, a powerful contribution. And I hope and believe that we are going to actually see the reasons why we have to fight for change together and support Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Let us meet in other episodes and other broadcasts.